أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Laura Zahirah, a beautiful woman from Finland, never thought that her life would change drastically after hearing the recitation of the Qur'an by a group of Indonesian mothers. Since childhood, she had been searching for the true meaning of life and the existence of God, but only found it after hearing the recitation of the holy verses of Islam. Laura was born into a non-Muslim family in Finland, a Nordic country known for its secular culture and the majority of whose population is not very religious. Since childhood, she always questioned the concept of divinity that was taught to her. I always wondered, who is the real God? Why do I have to pray to a human figure? Why do the teachings of the religion I follow feel unreasonable? Laura recalled. These questions continued to haunt her, but she did not get satisfactory answers. As an adult, she still felt that something was missing in her life. She tried to find answers through various books, philosophies, and even other religions, but her heart still did not feel at peace. One day, Laura was in a city park in Finland. At that time, she accidentally heard the melodious voices of a group of Indonesian mothers who were reading the Qur'an on a park bench. The chanting of the holy verses touched her heart. When I first heard the recitation of the Qur'an, I felt something I had never felt before. My heart trembled, my eyes filled with tears, and suddenly I cried. I didn't understand what they were reading, but I felt an incredible sense of calm, she said.
والقرآن المجيد بل عجبوا أن جاءهم منذر.
After hearing the reading, Laura felt that there was something she had to learn more deeply. She was curious about the contents of the book they were reading. With courage, she approached one of the mothers and asked, "What are you reading?" One of the mothers answered kindly, "We are reading the Qur'an, the holy book of Muslims." Laura was surprised. So far, she had only known Islam from the media, which often reported negative things about it. However, when she heard the reading directly, she felt a sense of calm and beauty that she had never felt before. Since that meeting, Laura began to be interested in learning more about Islam. She asked the women to recommend a place to study Islam, and they suggested that she go to a mosque that was often visited by the Muslim community in Finland. Laura dared to go to the mosque. There she met an imam who patiently explained Islam to her. The more she studied, the more she realized that Islam was a religion that made sense and provided answers to all her questions about God and life. I finally found that God is one, has no children, is not begotten, and does not resemble any creature. I found that Islam is a religion full of peace and wisdom, she said. In the process of studying, Laura also began to understand the meaning of the reading of the Qur'an that used to make her cry. She listened to the translation and interpretation and became more convinced that this was the truth she had been looking for. After several months of studying Islam, Laura felt ready to take a big step in her life. She contacted the mosque imam and expressed her desire to convert to Islam. In front of the mosque congregation, Laura said the two sentences of the Shahada with great emotion. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, which means, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that the Prophet Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. As soon as she said the Shahada, tears of emotion flowed down her cheeks. She felt as if she had just been reborn with a calmer soul and a more peaceful heart. After converting to Islam, Laura's journey was not always easy. She faced various challenges, especially from her family and friends who did not understand her decision. My family was very shocked at first and could not accept this decision. They thought I had gone astray or was influenced by something bad. I tried to explain to them, but it was not easy, she said. However, despite facing rejection, Laura remained steadfast in her faith. She continued to learn and try to become a better Muslima. She also found a Muslim community that supported her and helped her live her new life as a Muslim. Now Laura feels happier and more peaceful in her life. He found the true happiness in Islam that he had been looking for. She also started wearing the hijab and carried out her obligations as a Muslim woman with full sincerity. I feel calmer, happier, and closer to God. I am grateful that Allah has given me guidance, he said. Laura is now actively sharing her story with others who are also searching for the truth. She wants to show that Islam is not a scary religion, as often depicted in the media, but a religion full of love and peace. The truth is in the Qur'an. I found it, and I hope many others can find it too, she concluded. Laura Zahirah's story is proof that guidance can come from unexpected paths. The recitation of the Qur'an that she heard in a Finnish park became a turning point in her life, leading her to find the God she had been searching for. Islam is not a negative religion as is often misunderstood, but a religion that brings peace, logic, and wisdom to those who seek the truth with a sincere heart. Hopefully this story can be an inspiration for many people who are still searching for the meaning of life and the existence of God.
Mi nombre es Farah Solano, tengo 19 años y estudio Derecho, y soy tica musulmana conversa.
Farah Solano was born and raised in San Jose, the capital of Costa Rica. She came from a devout Catholic family. Since childhood, she was taught to worship diligently, attend Mass every Sunday, and follow the teachings of the Church without doubt. Her parents, especially her mother, always emphasized that the Catholic faith was the only path to salvation. In her home, a crucifix hung on the wall, a statue of the Virgin Mary stood in the corner of the room, and prayers were always said before meals and bedtime. However, deep in her heart, Farah always felt that something was missing. What is the true meaning of life? That question often crossed her mind. Even though she faithfully carried out religious rituals, she often felt empty. When praying, she felt as if she was merely speaking without truly sensing God's presence. She sought answers, but every time she asked, she only received advice to deepen her understanding of church teachings. However, her search continued, unaware that destiny would lead her on a journey that would change her life. At the age of 18, Farah was accepted into a prestigious university in Costa Rica to study law. She dreamed of becoming a lawyer who would fight for justice and defend the oppressed. On campus, she met many students from diverse backgrounds, including Amina, a Muslim student from Morocco. At first, Farah didn't pay much attention to Amina, but one thing caught her interest: the serenity that always radiated from her new friend. One day, while they were discussing law and morality, Amina said, "In Islam, justice is highly upheld. Allah loves those who act justly." Farah was surprised. "Justice in Islam," she murmured to herself. Intrigued, she began to wonder about Islam. Amina patiently answered all her questions, never once trying to force her to believe. However, there was one moment that truly shook Farah's heart. One afternoon, while they were studying together in the library, Amina asked for permission to leave for a moment. "I'm going to pray first," Amina said calmly. Farah nodded, but curiosity got the best of her. She quietly followed from a distance and watched as Amina spread out her prayer mat, stood, bowed, prostrated, and prayed with deep concentration. At that moment, Farah felt something strange in her heart, a serenity she had never experienced before. After that incident, Farah began to learn more about Islam. In secret, she read articles, watched videos, and even started reading translations of the Qur'an online. Her nights were spent reading and reflecting. Every verse she read seemed to answer the restlessness she had always felt. However, there was one verse that completely changed her perspective. Whoever Allah wills to guide, He opens their heart to Islam. Qur'an, Surah Al-An'am 125. Tears streamed down her face. She realized that all this time, she had been searching for something that Allah had already prepared for her. From that moment on, her heart grew more certain. She began learning how to worship in Islam, understanding the meaning of prayer, and even trying to pray in the way Islam teaches. However, one big question troubled her. How would her family react if she truly decided to embrace Islam? After months of reflection and learning, Farah finally made the biggest decision of her life. She wanted to become a Muslim. She met Amina and told her about her decision. Amina smiled, filled with emotion, and then took her to a small mosque in their city. There, in front of the imam and a few witnesses, Farah recited the Shahada. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. As soon as the words left her lips, she felt an overwhelming peace unlike anything she had ever experienced before, but that happiness did not last long. When she returned home and told her parents, it felt as if her world had collapsed. Their reaction was far worse than she had ever imagined. Her mother broke down in hysterical tears, while her father stared at her with furious eyes. Have you lost your mind, Farah? Her mother screamed. Do you even realize what you've done? Her father's voice trembled with anger. Farah tried to explain, but no one wanted to listen. No matter how hard she tried, her parents saw her as nothing more than a traitor. From that day on, their relationship changed drastically. No one greeted her or spoke to her anymore. It was as if she no longer existed in her own home. But the most painful moment came when her mother said, if you remain in that religion, you are no longer our daughter. That night, Farah cried her heart out. She had lost her family, but deep down, she knew she had found the truth. After leaving home, Farah stayed in a student dormitory. Her days were filled with trials, loneliness, the pain of being shunned by her family, and the challenges of being a convert in an environment that knew little about Islam. But every time she felt sadness creeping in, she remembered the verse that had strengthened her from the beginning. Indeed, with hardship comes ease. Qur'an, Surah Al-Inshirah 6. And it was true, Allah did not leave her alone. She found a new family among her Muslim brothers and sisters. She began to deepen her understanding of Islam, discovering the true meaning of life and growing closer to Allah. Now at 19 years old, Farah still faces rejection from her family. However, she continues to pray that one day they will accept her again. She firmly believes that Allah never abandons those who seek the truth. Even though the world may turn away from her, she knows that Allah always welcomes her with boundless love, and that is enough for her. Farah Solano's journey was never an easy one. From a devout Catholic girl, she went through doubt, a long search, and finally found Islam as the guiding light in her life. Her decision came with heavy consequences, losing her family, being shunned by those closest to her, and facing deep loneliness. Yet amid all of that, Farah discovered something far more valuable: true peace and unwavering faith. Every tear she shed, every trial she faced, each one only strengthened her faith. Now she lives her days with hope, holding firmly to the belief that Allah never abandons those who seek the truth. Farah believes that one day her parents will understand and accept her decision, but until that day comes, she will keep moving forward with faith and prayer, because she knows that with every hardship there is ease, and in every journey toward truth there is a light that never fades.